In a bold move that has sparked intense debate, ExxonMobil is suing California over groundbreaking climate disclosure laws, claiming they violate free speech rights. But here's where it gets controversial. The oil giant argues that these laws force them to promote a message they believe is misleading. Let's dive into the details and explore why this legal battle could reshape the future of corporate accountability. ExxonMobil has filed a 30-page lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of California, challenging two state laws that would require the company to disclose its global greenhouse gas emissions. These laws, Senate Bill 253, the Climate Corporate Data Accountability Act, and Senate Bill 261, aim to mandate transparency from large corporations regarding their environmental impact. Specifically, SB 253 requires companies with over $1 billion in annual revenue to report emissions across three scopes: direct emissions, Scope 1, indirect emissions like purchased electricity, Scope 2, and supply chain emissions, Scope 3, which account for a staggering 75% of total emissions in many industries. Reporting for Scopes 1 and 2 begins in 2026, with Scope 3 following in 2027. But here's the part most people miss. ExxonMobil claims these laws infringe on its First Amendment rights by compelling the company to endorse California's climate narrative, even if it disagrees. The lawsuit argues that the legislative intent unfairly targets large corporations like ExxonMobil, aiming to stir public outrage rather than foster genuine accountability. This raises a thought-provoking question. Can a government mandate corporate speech, even if it's in the name of environmental transparency? This isn't the first time these laws have faced legal challenges. In 2024, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, California Chamber of Commerce, and other groups sued California over the same legislation. While a judge denied their request for a preliminary injunction, the case is ongoing, with a trial expected in October 2026. U.S. District Judge Otis Wright II ruled that while the laws regulate commercial speech, they do not unlawfully restrict First Amendment rights. He noted that the plaintiffs failed to demonstrate irreparable harm, as they did not prove the laws violate free speech. And this is where it gets even more contentious. ExxonMobil contends that the Air Resources Board, responsible for implementing these rules, has ignored the company's concerns about the proposed reporting methods. The lawsuit highlights ExxonMobil's belief that the laws disproportionately blame large corporations for climate change, rather than addressing the issue holistically. Critics, however, argue that transparency is essential to combat corporate greenwashing, the practice of misleading the public about a company's environmental efforts. Supporters of the legislation, like Senator Scott Wiener, D. San Francisco, emphasize the need for comprehensive data to tackle climate change effectively. We need the full picture to make the deep emissions cuts that scientists tell us are necessary, Wiener stated. SB 261 further expands disclosure requirements, mandating companies with over $500 million in revenue to reveal their climate-related financial risks and mitigation strategies. For example, a coastal factory might need to detail how rising sea levels could impact its operations, while a car manufacturer would report on shifting consumer demand for electric vehicles. ExxonMobil counters that these laws force companies to speculate on unknowable future developments and publicly share such conjectures. The lawsuit names California Attorney General Rob Bonta, Air Resources Board Chair Lauren Sanchez, and other officials as defendants. Tara Gallegos, a spokesperson for Governor Gavin Newsom, defended the laws, stating, "Truly shocking that one of the biggest polluters on the planet would be opposed to transparency." Here's the bigger question for you. Is ExxonMobil's lawsuit a legitimate defense of free speech or an attempt to evade accountability? Do these laws go too far in compelling corporate speech, or are they a necessary step toward addressing climate change? Share your thoughts in the comments. This debate is far from over.